And I'll tell you what happened, because this is a Bay Area bombshell. San Francisco, across the bay, has had their eyes on Mo Collins for weeks. He's now going to be playing in the Bay Area on the other team.
Well, I'll tell you, you look at Mo Collins, and I see a guy who really came on as a junior. Remember, he had another year of eligibility left. I think the game that really defined him was certainly against Andre Wadsworth, but you watch him here at right tackle. Just a massive offensive tackle, a heck of a bookend, and a guy that I think, when you look at him and project him into the NFL, should become a much better run blocker than he was at Florida. But certainly, that game against Andre Wadsworth, Chris, late in the year, where he really held Andre Wadsworth down, had a lot of help. He held the tight end in, he had max protection, but that game against Andre Wadsworth, I think, propelled Mo Collins into the first round and maybe affected his decision to leave Florida early, knowing that if you can dominate arguably the best player in the draft, or at least neutralize him, then that gives him an opportunity to maybe come in as a first-round draft choice.
We so often find ourselves projecting so-called skill players into offenses. This is one where Mo Collins comes out of a Florida offense that is used to getting rid of the football quick. He's used to operating without people outside of him. All of a sudden, he goes into Oakland now, where John Gruden's going to put in an offense where he's got a quarterback who gets rid of the ball quick in Jeff George. This is a case where you have an offensive lineman that actually comes out of a college system that fits very nicely into a professional system in Oakland. So it's a nice fit for him as well as an offensive lineman, with a lot less things to learn than if he had to go to a longer drop-back style of offense.
Well, let's clean the trade up here for a moment. Oakland has 3 picks between in the second round. They got 31 and 59 as a result of the Chester McLaughlin trade. So they hold on to 31, but they give up their regular second-round pick, number 34, and the pick that they acquired from the Chiefs as a result of Kansas City 2 days ago or yesterday signing Chester and McLaughlin. So Oakland has 1 second-round pick left. Tampa Bay gets their other second-round picks, and Oakland gets Mo Collins. For more reaction to Mo Collins heading to the Silver and Black, let's go up to Chris Fowler and the coach.
Well, Boomer, Mo Collins becomes the 3rd offensive lineman taken in this first round. Here's a guy who was playing against the highest possible college competition from a very early time in his career at Florida. Never forget the Fiesta Bowl. Collins very much overmatched by those Nebraska outside pass rushers as a young tackle there. Were not able to block anybody, and Danny Werfel got killed. But Mo Collins, as Mel mentioned, guys, progressed along, was able to play very well against Andre Wadsworth and those Florida State outside pass rushers later in his career. Guy likes to do a lot of talking as well as blocking, though.
Well, Chris, when you look at Mo Collins, you look at '96, he played against Andre Wadsworth and Peter Boulware and Renard Wilson, and the 2 outside guys, Wilson and Boulware. He played very well against them. Last year, with a little help from the tight end, he was able to shut out Andre Wadsworth. The problem is he's not a very good run blocker and can get overweight on you a little bit, but comes out of a very good system of Steve Spurrier, a good pass protector.
What is overweight in this draft? You know, they had 58 college linemen at the combine. 51 of them were over 300 pounds, Jaws. How does he fit into the offensive scheme of the Raiders?
Well, it should be a real nice fit. Remember, John Gruden is coming there, and he's going to put in a new style of offense, the West Coast offense. And what we really want to look at is going to the playbook right here. We look at the pre-play, and here's the position he will play right there. And now in John Gruden's style of offense, the fullback is an important pass receiver, so he's going to get out of the backfield quick. That means Mo is going to have to set quick and either block that end coming there against this over front or this tackle coming in here. And the key is to stop the penetration coming up the field, because the quarterback will set in 3- and 5-step drops. Critical. So when you have this position or this position at the tackle and you're throwing short, quick passes in the West Coast offense, it is critical that the quarterback has lanes to throw to the fullback and to the halfback and to the short inside routes to the wide receiver. This is a real good pick for John Gruden because he wants to solidify the offensive line. He likes to run the football, but the key will be the quick, short, crisp passing game.
So Mo Collins joins Fred Taylor in this year's first round. Last year, the Gators had a couple of first-round picks. Steve Spurrier, before last year, Chris Berman, had not had an offensive player taken in the first round in his regime at Florida, and Jacquez Green could make it a 3rd this year.
Bellwether, certainly. He's one of the most intriguing players in the entire draft. A Bay Area scoop, Tommy. Mo Collins playing for the Raiders, and when he's good, he's very good.
Yeah, the thing is Mo Collins has a massive frame, long arms, 355 pounds, 6'4.5". The thing that he does well is get arm extension. He gets his arms out and forces people around. And we'll take a look at Mo Collins here. Initially, at the left tackle spot, you're going to see him get out right away. And get right tackle and get those arms out, and you see him right there with the great thrust. Working here against Andre Wadsworth, best defensive player in the draft here. Again, you see him make that end, take the long route around. Now, the rap on Mo Collins is that he is inconsistent at times, but when he had to raise his level of play, a la Andre Wadsworth, he did an outstanding job. And the thing we want to talk about here is that arm extension here. Remember, he's 6'4.5", 355 pounds. When he gets those arms out and he extends, it's going to force you to take the long route around about a day and a half, Boom.
The long route, the polar route, so to speak, Tommy. And it's interesting, as Mo Collins is a Raider, his father spent a season with the Kansas City Chiefs in 1975. Both sides of that rivalry. Hey, some action in the stands. Cuban around the clock. We'll be back. Here we go. The NFC Eastern champion New York Football Giants are on the clock. They've made their pick. The fans will find out who it is.
With the 24th pick in the first round, the New York Giants select defensive back from UCLA, Sean Williams.
Value. A player that we didn't think would be in this spot, Mel. And I don't think that's where they originally were headed. But when he dropped, he's a good value, wouldn't he?
Well, I think when you look at the Giants, you say, well, the safety positions look pretty good. They have Sam Garnes, who, of course, was an outstanding fifth-round pick last year out of Cincinnati, but they lost Thomas Randolph in free agency, who was kind of their nickel back. And, of course, they're strong at corner with Sehorn and certainly with Felipe Sparks. You watch Sean Williams. He's an attacker, an aggressive free safety. They're on the sack. He's a big kid. He's about 210 pounds, 6'1 1/4. He'll hit you. He's also a very good center fielder, and I think the all-around skills that Sean Williams provides. In addition, when you look at him at 210, he has some pure cornerback skills, but he's all over the field. I mean, he's a guy, when you look talking to Steve Atwaters and, of course, what Ronnie Lott developed into after he moved from cornerback to safety, that's what you're hoping. That UCLA has had that great tradition at safety of developing NFL players, and Sean Williams gives them a lot of versatility in terms of their nickel package and their dime package as a rookie.
First defensive back drafted in the first round for the Giants since 1983, Terry Kennard. Let's go to Chris Mortensen in Miami for some reaction. Mort?
Well, Chris, and speaking with Ernie Accorsi, the new general manager of the New York Giants, of course, he had assisted George Young the past few years. Ernie anticipated that this was very much a possibility. I spoke to him early or middle of the week, and he said, hey, if Sean Williams falls to me, it's going to be tough to pass on him. He would probably be the highest-rated player on the board, even though they needed an offensive lineman, Alan Faneca, LSU, Flozo Adams, one of the guys we were discussing. They even need a speed receiver like Jackass Green. But he said Sean Williams, too good to pass up, and Mel Kiper is exactly right. They need somebody to cover in nickel situations. Sean Williams, I know Ernie is thrilled to have him, Chris.
Well, they had nickel coverage in the game against the Vikings. They would have been moving on, right?
Exactly.
Well, one play, but
that's true.
Ward mentioned it, and it's true. Let's look at the board now, Mel, because Sean Williams was excellent value. Who now? You know what we have not had, and we thought we would, and maybe it's starting now, is a defensive back run.
Right.
We thought that would happen about 8 spots above. They've had Jones and Williams. Now what?
Well, I think you look at Corey Chavis. I think the question there is if he got by Minnesota, that's the thing. If Moss would have been gone, would Minnesota taken Chavis? Now, how far does he slide? A lot of questions about can he be a corner or is he a safety? I think he's an outstanding corner. I think he'll be a steal for somebody. Flozo Adams, senior year wasn't spectacular because of the ankle, but he's a bookend tackle. McQuarters, you got to like. I mean, versatile, was on the field 80% of the time, offense and defense. Victor Riley, if he becomes more intense and consistent, he's got some ability. Brian Kelly, he had the subpar workout, then a better workout. Was it enough to recover and get in the first round? Robert Holcomb, you have to believe the Kansas City Chiefs will think very seriously about Robert Holcomb late in the first round.
These are good players. I mean, these are guys, right?
Exactly, Chris. I think you look at Bob Hallen, the versatility. Alan Faneca, a rugged Pittsburgh Steeler style of offensive guard. Leonard Little could be an outside backer in the right scheme or a defensive end.
3-4 player.
Owen Krutzel played 10 or 12 years anchoring a line at the center position. Jeremy Stott, 1 year as a starter. And look at the great job he did clogging the middle at Arizona State. Leon Bender, an athletic 318-pounder. Surtain, a guy very underrated at Southern Miss. Cleveland, his great individual workout, moved him into the early second-round area. And there's Mitch Marrow. Interesting kid. You talk about the Ivy League. Last year, Marcellus Wiley, a very strong second-round pick for the Buffalo Bills. They really like his potential. I think when you look at Seth Payne, draft choice in the 4th round to Jacksonville last year, this kid Marrow has been a workout warrior. You say, well, he didn't make a lot of plays as a senior. He had mononucleosis. He had a